OSHA inspections are one of those things we as a safety consulting company can take for granted and forget that there are nearly 7 million companies out there under OSHA's governance, and that many may have never had an OSHA inspection for the simple fact that OSHA's reach is only so large. So this week, I wanted to go through some of the basics of OSHA inspections and what you need to know. First and foremost, in order of priority, OSHA will always respond first to imminent danger situations. These are hazards that could cause death or serious physical harm, including fall protection violations they see from the road or across the street from a job site. The second priority is severe injuries and illnesses. The way in which they know about these injuries are from the employer's required reporting practices. Remember, all work-related fatalities must be reported within 8 hours, and all work-related inpatient hospitalizations, amputations, or losses of an eye must be reported within 24 hours. The third and very common way in which they gain access is worker complaints. These, of course, are allegations of hazards or violations that an employee reports at your site. Fourth, we have referrals of hazards from other federal, state, or local agencies, individuals, organizations, and even the media can receive consideration for inspection. Remember, media can mean any source, including the local news, newspaper, or online reports. Fifth are targeted inspections. These are inspections aimed at specific high-hazard industries or individual workplaces that have experienced high rates of injuries and illnesses. We refer to these as emphasis programs, and we have some other videos about this if you want more info. Sixth are follow-up inspections where they are checking for physical evidence of abatements of the violations that were cited during a previous inspection. Now, when an OSHA inspector arrives on site, they should provide a presentation of their credentials, which will include a picture and a serial number. Remember, you can exercise your right in most cases to have the inspector get a warrant to return at another time. Realize that this is a federal agency that is requesting access to your private business, and you do have rights. Just understand that they don't have to let you know when they're going to return, and if they get a warrant, they will have access at a time of their choosing. Also note that you can make the inspector wait in a conference room for about an hour or so until one of your company representatives is available. Or to put it bluntly, you clean up some of the low-hanging fruit out in the shop or field before they walk through. Now, during the opening conference, the compliance officer will explain why OSHA selected your workplace for an inspection and describe the scope of inspection, walk-around procedures, employee representation, and desired employee interviews. The employer then selects a representative to accompany the compliance officer during the inspection. Don't forget to take pictures of every picture the inspector takes. An authorized representative of the employees, if any, also has the right to go along. In any case, the compliance officer will consult privately with a reasonable number of employees during the inspection. Following the opening conference, the compliance officer and the representatives will walk through the portions of the workplace covered by the inspections and make sure that there's nothing that's going to contribute to any hazards or illness. The compliance officer will also ask to review a written safety program and the 300 logs. During the walk-around, compliance officers will point out some apparent violations that can be corrected immediately. While the law requires that they do cite anything that they see, if you provide prompt correction, they may not actually end up citing it. Now, you're better off leaving them in the conference room and cleaning up things before they step on site to try to avoid that. Finally, after the walk around, the compliance officer should hold a closing conference with you and the employee representatives to discuss the findings. The compliance officer discusses possible courses of action an employer can take, and which include an informal conference with OSHA or contesting the citations and proposed penalties. The compliance officer also discusses consultation services and employee rights. However, I will say that our particular region has not done a great job of conducting closing conferences. We have seen them use their 6-month window before hearing what their citations are going to be. Not cool in my opinion. Anyway, when an inspector finds violations of OSHA standards or serious hazards, OSHA may issue citations and fines. OSHA must issue a citation and proposed penalty within 6 months of the violation's occurrence. Citations describe OSHA's requirements allegedly violated, list any proposed penalties, and give a deadline for correcting the alleged hazards. Violations are categorized as willful, serious, other than serious, de minimis, failure to abate, and repeats. In settling a penalty, OSHA has a policy of reducing penalties for small employers and those acting in good faith. For serious violations, OSHA may also reduce the proposed penalty based on the gravity of the alleged violation, although that is rare. No good faith adjustment will be made for alleged willful violations. When OSHA issues a citation to an employer, it also offers the employer an opportunity for an informal conference with the OSHA area director to discuss citations, penalties, abatement dates, or any other information pertinent to the inspection. You have 15 working days to decide your stance and what path you're going to take. The agency and the employer may work out a settlement agreement to resolve the matter and to eliminate the hazard. Although I can tell you from personal experience, it dramatically depends on your area director. So, all of that said, these are the basics of what you need to know about an OSHA inspection at your work site. For Summit Safety Group, I'm Jake Wolfenden, and I may not know you, but I do care about you, and I'll see you next week.